Alright, I'm gonna make one more video for now. This one is gonna be about the parable of the talents of gold slash the bags of gold slash the Manias. Alright, so the parable of the bag slash the talents of gold, they're all basically the same. They have the same meaning. The parable of the Manias is slightly different, but it all has the same meaning. So the parable of So basically, it means is like there's a owner or a master who has charge of like wealth and all that. That basically represents God's, and the servants represent us as in his children, or like us, like everybody that he created, which is all of us. And the bags of gold slash the talents represents like different gifts, skills, talents, or abilities that God gives each and every one of us. Like, each and every one of us are talented and gifted. Like, we each all have different talents, skills, and abilities, all determined and according to God, based off of how He determined. And naturally, like, some have more, some have less. That's why in the parable, it's like some had five, some had two, some had one. That's why it's like that. And basically, the point is like the master, he gives us all these talents and abilities, and then he goes away for a while. And all the servants, they go and they put the talents to use. Yeah, they put the talents to use and they go and bear fruit. Some bear 60, some 30, some 100 times what they received or had. And then there were some who were lazy, and instead of putting their talents to use, they were scared and hid their talents in the ground. And then in the end, the master came back and he gave an account of everybody and how they used their talents and abilities. Basically, that represents like when the master comes back, that basically represents like the resurrection, when we stand before the judgment seat of Christ and we tell him about how we did, and determines like how we made use of our talents and skills or whatever he bestowed upon us. Some were faithful with their talents and they were rewarded and they were entrusted with more. And the lazy one who hid his talent in the ground out of fear, he was basically, yeah, he was judged basically. So the idea, or rather the moral of the story is we're called to be stewards, like good stewards of whatever it is God entrusts onto us. Like whatever it is God gives you, we're called to be good stewards of anything that God has placed before us. Like whether it's physical talents, spiritual talents, or anything else. Like we each all have a special talent, or we all have different talents, skills, and abilities. And basically, the whole point of this parable was to show that God calls us to be good stewards and to make use of our talents and bear good fruit. That's why some